And I think this one's been pretty interesting to follow this week.
Oh, yeah.
Trev Alberts. Need I say more? He, left Lincoln kind of in a really unorthodox fashion. I mean, I'll never forget that week. We interviewed him on HuskerOnline Headlines on this very show on a Thursday, if I'm not mistaken, during State Boys Basketball Tournament Week. And we asked him off air, are you going to go down to the women's basketball tournament to watch Nebraska women's? He's like, no. I got something on my schedule. You know how that stuff goes. Well, he interviewed at Texas A&M. A week later, he was gone. Mm-hmm. And that hit Nebraska fans and state leaders, governors, regents like a bag of bricks.
Because he spoke about loyalty. One of his big themes as a leader, and probably picked up from the leadership books that he read, was the importance of loyalty. And he showed no loyalty. I mean, he showed none. He just left early in a tenure. And
with the greatest contract ever assembled for an athletic director.
Still very odd. And he went to a place where he's not known. I mean, nobody cares about Trev Alberts winning the Buckus Award in 1993. I mean, they don't care. They don't even know. So it was a kind of a sort of an odd circumstance. And now he's really hit some rugged waters. I mean, with the Schlossnagle situation.
I was waiting for you to try to take an attempt at Schlossnagle.
Jim Schlossnagle, who, now we'll get into this Trev Alberts part of this discussion, which is, I don't know. I would say this about Schlossnagle. And Sean, you've covered college sports for a long time. The popularity of coaches tends to ebb and flow, right? The likability factor for coaches ebbs and flows. Jim Schlossnagle's likability factor flowed right into the gutter. I mean, there's who likes him now? I mean,
and the way he went after that Texags reporter, young reporter, and then did you see his apology statement?
Horrible apology.
And he referred to him as a young reporter.
Yeah.
Like, no, he's a grown man. He's covering the team. He's not a kid. Like,
I totally agree.
Like, that was like it
was not a good. It was. You know what he did? He kind of made an excuse. He goes, I was thinking about. It was 30 minutes after the game, and I was thinking about my players. No, you weren't. First of all, you weren't.
I talked to somebody in College Station, very tied into the baseball scene down there, and he said he got upset because he about pulled it off. Like, he was hoping to get off that stage,
right,
and pull this off.
And he didn't.
Kind of like a Baltimore Colts leaving Baltimore in the middle of the night.
Yeah, and he sort of had the gall to turn it on the reporter and say, that's a selfish question. Oh, wow. This is what I mean. It's a really, really bad look for Schlossnagle. Now, getting to Trev. How does Trev fit into all this? I don't know that I could point to Trev Alberts in any meaningful way and say this is his fault.
Well, it might be, though, because they let go of 18 longtime Aggie athletic department officials, people that work there. Something similar that we saw down here at Nebraska.
He was probably directed to do that.
Yeah, but he did it. And a couple of those people were tied to the baseball program. Right. And one of them I know particularly really upset Schlossnagle. And that was kind of the final straw.
That could be a factor. Again, I don't know that I would. I think Trev might be in an unfortunate circumstance. Now,
why would there be money problems in College Station?
I don't know.
I mean, they literally presented the 12th Man Foundation, presented Jimbo Fisher's buyout check on the field.
I just wonder how much of that he decided, or if it was just decided by people above him, Trev.
Yeah, sometimes I think how does that really, he's still the athletic director.
It's true. He's in charge.
He's in charge.
He's in charge. And this happened on his watch. Now that's the one thing I would say. All of this went down on his watch. And then there's that report by Kendall Rogers of D1Baseball.com that it all started in late April, that the deal may have been done going into regionals. Kendall Rogers didn't report that it may have been done. He reported that it was done. Trev had been there for over a month at that point.
Well, and Chris Del Conte, the AD of Texas, was the AD at TCU.
That's the other
and
thing.
Schlossnagle came from TCU.
Right, they're friends.
And they're best friends.
Yeah, I mean.
So, I mean, it's kind of like Matt Rule and Kraft at Penn State. Like, he's very close to that.
Oh, great. You had to.
No, but there's a relationship there, that goes back with those two guys. I mean.
Yeah. I mean, Schlossnagle refers to him as my man CDC. My man CDC, Chris Del Conte. It's interesting to me that coaches down there refer to him as the Texas coaches refer to him as CDC.
How do you get Chris Del what's the C then?
CDC. Chris Del Conte.
Because there's a space in Del and Conte.
Yeah.
Okay.
Southo
spelling test here on the air live.
Your mom is aghast right now. Chris Del Conte. But anyway,
remember when people thought he was up for the Nebraska job?
Del Conte.
Yeah, he never was. I mean,
I don't think so.
Well, there was somebody that like went on our website and said that they saw him in Lincoln the day Bill Moose got hired, and I'm pretty sure they got him confused with Dennis LeBlanc.
He kind of looks like Dennis LeBlanc.
And
they do. They look
I gave this user was adamant that he saw Chris Del Conte at the Nebraska game back. And I no, he's not. And then Bill Moose was hired the next day. But
so the theme of this is Trev's in a you know what show. He is. It's a tough situation. Schlossnagle comes out of this looking bad. Now, Sean, you could correct me on this. Everybody's going to root against Texas. I mean,
the evil empire.
Oh, now it was a flex by Del Conte for sure. Major league.
Supposedly a 10-year contract, I heard.
Oh, great.
That would obviously make him the highest paid coach throughout the 10 years in college baseball.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, his deal will get north of $3 million, I'm told.
Yeah, and he goes to the winningest program in college baseball history, Texas. I mean, Texas has had 3 coaches, Sean, with 2 national titles apiece. I can name 2 of them, Cliff Gustafson and Augie Garrido. There's a third back in the day.
Back when you covered your early day.
No, Sean, it was before me. But anyway, I mean, this has really been a good thing for sports talk like us in a kind of a slow time, June. This story has really taken hold. It's interesting.
Yeah, and people have asked, like, would Trev Alberts call Will Bolt? And no knock on Will. I don't think that's even a possibility. I think when you lose a guy that was a play away from winning a national title, the interest you're going to have in that job is high.
You would think.
The money you're going to have is high. So they're going to have to get a sitting SEC or ACC head coach.
Yeah, Trev's got and Trev doesn't have a vast network of college baseball.
Well, how many coaches has Trev Alberts hired that make over $1 million a year? One, Matt Rule.
Wow.
And he needed the assistance of Ted Carter to get that done.
He needed a lot of assistance in that one. He did.
So
he did. Let's just be very frank about it. You know it, Sean. We covered.
Besides, I was thinking about Rule is the only coach. Did Trev hire any other coach at Nebraska besides Rule? I think everybody else is Moose.
Yeah. Unless there was some
lower level, like tennis coach or something
like that.
But I'm talking like the major coaches were already in place when he got here. Basketball, baseball, volleyball.
What a story. I mean, this is why is it amazing? Because you don't see coaches go very often from a hated rival to the other rival.
Hours after the national.
Like you don't see a Duke coach go to North Carolina.
Think if they would have won the title.
I don't know what he does then. I mean, he already took the job, I think. I mean,
like that would have been nasty.
Well, yeah, let's talk that out, Sean. I think it might have been easier for Schlossnagle to leave after he won a national
My job is done here. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. I think that would have smoothed it a little bit. It's still rival to rival, and I mean hated rival to hated rival. I've told you this story when Nebraska moved to the Big 12, they sent me and Ken Hamilton to Texas, and we went to each school in Texas. It was, Big 12 school, just to do stories on them, Sunday stories, do long form stories about their tradition and everything. And I went to Austin the day after I went to College Station. I was having lunch with a bunch of Texas officials, and we were eating at a Mexican restaurant on 6th Street. It was fun until this happened. They said, "Steve, where were you yesterday?" And I said, "I was in College Station." They looked down at their plates. It was uncomfortable. It was really uncomfortable. You had to kind of just go to the next subject. It was, and that was it was kind of an error on my part, not to read it like that, but there is a serious rivalry there.
And A&M strikes me as more kind of the traditional cowboy, blue collar.
I think so, yeah.
Military presence, and Texas is kind of the fancier bells and whistle.
Richer. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, they refer to Texas A&M as little brother. I mean, Texas A&M is kind of like the little brother. They don't like that, obviously.
Well, that will be interesting to see
how that all plays out.